Here we are at episode 6. Let's move that fast. I don't have a one-liner for this episode. So let's get into it.
One more episode left, bro.
Yeah. Oh, and we should say what it is. The Last of Us. But I guess you know that by clicking the link anyway. So
We don't have to say it. No one cares.
exactly.
Right now we're reviewing Humpty Dumpty, episode 6, season 1. Alright. What is this?
Oh, wait, she's still doing it as well.
What is it? Look at this.
Hey, an ad.
What the fuck is all this shit?
Buy me a coffee.
Wait, hold on. Look, we can be like... Oh, wait, hold on. Wait. Oh, wait. Ready for this? Dude, I can like edit the ads. So if you guys want to go buy yourselves a pair of cock and balls right now, just use the QR code down there right now. Continue on, Alana.
Yes. Cheapest cock and balls in town. This side of Doveton, I guess. But yes, we. Because you never know when you're going to need a dead baby. Dead unborn. I mean, veal.
Oh my god, we found a new joke, bro. Alright, keep going.
Well, with that, before I even introduce this, you are watching TELEVERSE Reviews, and we are reviewing The Last of Us. We're up to episode 6. I'm your host, ALANNIS Maximus. This is my co-host, TOMYE West, and today we are talking about, as I just said, episode 6, which did a little bit for me, but not a lot. I'm wondering if there's anything... So I know it was a little bit of a bland one for you as well. Is there anything at all that stood out to you with it?
Not really. To me, it was like more of a continuation of what we had last week, but sort of less thrilling, I'd say.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you think about it?
I think it was good to see the inevitable kind of initial catch up with Tommy, Joel's brother. It was good to see a little bit more kind of development of Joel as a character and the relationship Joel and Ellie have. And they kind of went into the whole, he's kind of been a bit standoffish with Ellie because he's scared. That's why he tries to ditch her. He's kind of worried about losing her to a degree. So he's pushing her away. But then you see them kind of bond and it's all happy, which I mean, it was good. But also, I think the episode was an hour long, and I didn't need that for an hour. Like, there's very little action and no zombies or clickers or infected or whatever you want to call them. I just feel it could have had a little bit more thrill to it. Like, there was one little fight. That was it. It was just a lot of character progression, which has its place, but at the same time, it gets boring.
It definitely does. So do you feel as if, well, I know for a fact, I can just tell, you definitely don't feel as strongly about this episode as the previous?
Definitely not. No. I think we're building up to a banger of the last episode or episodes. I think it has to be. Because there's been a lot of not much this season. Like, when you look back across all the episodes, there really hasn't been much much action, much of the infected. Like you've had patches, but overall it's been more about the people, which I get. But at the same time, it's also why I get a bit bored with HBO shows because it's talking and more talking and some more talking. So hopefully we get some more action in to keep us interested.
Well, I think it'll have to end with a banger, wouldn't it?
You'd think so. You'd think so. Like
you'd have to think that like we're going to get a banger of an episode, and we're going to get a solid, heavy cliffhanger.
Yes. There's going to be a lot of unanswered things going on here because they kind of got to Colorado. There was no one there, so they're heading off to I think it was Salt Lake City. Joel's been stabbed and fell off his horse, and will he live?
I'd say so. I'd say we're not too worried about that one.
Yeah.
And by the way,
yeah,
just a quick side note: make sure you support our stream
because I mean, isn't that the best? I wonder where that QR code goes.
I have no idea, bro. And also, while we may as well just get the other sponsor out of the way.
And I hope that QR code goes someplace good after this.
Yeah. I guarantee you it's not taking you to what their title says it is.
But if it is, at least we're honest. So I dare you, scan that code. We're not liable.
Yeah, we're definitely not. So
take it over with our sponsors.
What are your thoughts on the progression of Ellie and Joel so far now with from last week's episode to now the new episode?
I like that they're kind of developing that more father. My drink is leaking everywhere and I don't know why. That's sticky. That father-daughter relationship. I like the way it's going. As I said, I don't think it had to take an hour to get there. But it's going around those corners that I like. They've got a bit more of that bond there. So I mean, I know where it's going ultimately between those two, and I like that it's gonna be spicy when it does because of this development we've had.
Definitely. And has this season like made you want to get a season 2, or has it made you be like you could take it or leave it?
I would watch again. I wouldn't say it's my favorite show. It's given me enough to give me hope that maybe the pace will be picked up when we get a second season. Like they'll kind of go. The foundations are in place. I didn't mean that one. I'm sorry. The foundations are in place now, so there's room for more action and things like that.
Definitely. And like again, as a person who didn't watch The Walking Dead, how do you think this is faring compared to something like that?
Completely different. It's almost chalk and cheese. Apart from the post-apocalypse kind of thing, and eventually, in terms of The Walking Dead, the many years on past the apocalypse, it's very different tone, very different approach, very different, just very different in general. And I like that though, because I'm sick of your textbook zombie post-apocalypse kind of thing. I think they all get a bit samey. This one breaks the mold a little bit in what it's doing, which I like. It's not just typical zombies. It's not just a few years after or just at Z Day. It's decades into the future. And to a degree, having said this, I'd prefer more action of humans fighting humans if they have less zombies, but also part of me doesn't mind that it's not as fixated on the infected, but I don't think they've kind of established that there isn't that many infected at this point. Like you get your swarms, but it's not like The Walking Dead where you have thousands of zombies out there that really shouldn't be anymore, kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. So now that we know we're not going to end where the first game ends, I mean, I know you don't know you're The Last of Us like I don't know that much. How are you predicting this is going to end? Like, this season?
I reckon I actually don't know. Like, I don't know the middle of the first game. I just kind of know where it starts and where it ends. So I have absolutely no idea. It will be a cliffhanger, but I don't know in what way.
I think that they've done a great job with The Last of Us so far, adapting it. It hasn't been a complete nightmare. And to be honest, for a while there, I thought it was going to be a complete nightmare. When I first saw the casting, I'm not saying that it was me looking at them and just immediately judging a book by its cover, but people have got to understand too about the attachment you have of how certain characters look, feel, you know, like how you match the tone of the character and how they act to the way they look and things like that. So when they got Bella Ramsey in as Ellie, you're looking at her and thinking, yes, she's got the tone. She can do the Ellie part quite well, but it takes you out of it because of the tone not matching the way the character looks. You know what I mean? So now that that's become less of a problem for me, I am actually starting to look at her more like Ellie now. Every time we get further on, I'm not just stuck at this whole, no, this is Ellie, and like now it's like I almost look at it like, well, this is the real world interpretation of Ellie, and let's just get used to it, which it is. I mean, that's what it is. But like, as in like, there could be a cartoon version that looked completely different too. Ellie is more than just how she looks. She's more of like her personality is more like a sign and more of a symbol of what Ellie means to the story than the way she looks. Is that a good way of putting it?
It is, yes. Yes, it is. But I think that's about all I have to say on this. This is feeling like a shorter episode, but
yeah, it's just that the episode wasn't much more groundbreaking or fun than the last episode.
Exactly. I think I wouldn't call it filler.
No.
I think a lot of what happened in it had to happen, but I think it took too long to get to the point. It could have been more exciting, I think.
Yeah, and I also think that like, see, we didn't have great characters in it this time, like as many, I think, like we did with Henry and
Sam.
I think we're with them being the support for this sort of thing, for that episode, with sort of being like the main driver story plot line, and then having the B-line plot line with that Rose chick from 2.5 Men, and then the big zombie explosion at the end and all that. Like, you had so many like captivating moments in those episodes, in that episode, that in this one, when it doesn't feature those elements, it just feels like it's less impactful than, I'd say, something like the last episode. That's all. Not that it was bad, not that it was good, not that it was bad, not that it was amazing. Like, it was sort of just like, well, that was a great episode still.
Yeah. It had value, but it was not amazing.
Exactly. And it definitely added to the plot and added to the direction the story was going. Definitely more than the other episode we got that we would actually classify as filler.
Yes.
I still feel like this one had a lot more pushing the story further than that episode did. Number 3 episode.
But it had a doggo. I mean, I like doggos.
I do too. So with that, I guess we bring up our scores. ALANNIS, what score are you giving this?
This episode I'm giving, now it's going to put it low in the chain of things, but there's a big rift between the bottom and here. I'm giving this a solid 39.
And I am giving this a solid 40 out of 50.
Yeah.
ALANNIS, maybe before we bring up the scoreboard, do you want to explain to everybody maybe that's just tuning in for the first time how we run the score?
What we do here is we end up with an inevitable for each episode score of 100. I go from 0 to 50. Tommy goes from 0 to 50, and we add them together for a final score. Then we put them on a leaderboard, and we go, hey, that's where they sit.
So let's bring up that leaderboard.
And we have here episode 5 last week, which we mentioned today, the standalone best episode of the season, followed by episode 4 at 86, episode 2 at 85, episode 1 at 81, episode 6 this week's at 79, and at the bottom, by a very defined gap, episode 3 at 63. Purely because we thought it was filler.
Definitely. So, I mean, what is our plan once episode 7 is done and we have our tally for all of them? Are we going to give the series itself a score out of 100? Or, like, are we going to, like, come up with a percentage for each episode and kind of make, like, you know what I mean? Because I think at the end of it, we should come up with sort of like a finale score for the entire package. You know what I mean?
I've actually been thinking about that, and I think the best way we should do it is I'll work out the average, because then we're taking everything into account there, and then I'll give us a final number.
Cool. I think this is going to be pretty high.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I mean, I'm looking in the 80s, I reckon.
Yeah, I think it will be in the 80s, if not. Actually, no, I'd be surprised if it doesn't end up in the 80s after all this.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm going to quickly bring up one more thing. We have a couple of things happening at the moment, and you guys should definitely go check these out if they're not released yet. And if they aren't released yet, you should definitely let me back up. If they're released, go check them out. If they're not released, look out for them and make sure you check them out. Now,
yes,
what do we have? We have our very first episode of our brand new podcast, Work It Out at the moment, which you can go check it out on the YouTube channel. Where you are now, obviously. It's an episode about nothing. Our new podcast is just us talking about what we want to talk about. We bring 2 topics to the table, and it usually spans into a bunch of different other topics as well. So this week's episode, we talked about the future, what we thought the future would be while we were children, and what it is now compared to what we thought it was going to be, and what we can expect in the future, which obviously led off to talking about flying cars, what we actually see happening with that, the end of the world, World War. What else did we dive into? Like jackets, 3D billboards, future drugs. We also talked about Christmas ritual fighting in Peru and how we'd like to adopt that tradition and make it one of our own, and a bunch of other stuff. I even gave my Scream 7 pitch. So I think it was a good pitch too. What do you think, ALANNIS?
I liked it. It was good.
And the other thing that's coming up. There's 2 things coming up related to Scream, due to Scream 6 coming out very, very fucking soon, which we're excited for. And that is that we have our review of all the Scream movies, leading from Scream 1 to Scream 2, Scream 3, Scream 4, and then Scream, known as Scream 5, at the end. And then we will do our Scream 6 review once it hits. We'll actually be seeing it on the 8th in 3D, and we will have it out for you on the 8th at 11:55 p.m. Also, one final thing. I have finally finished my work on the script for my real retrospective show, episode 1, for Scream 1. So I am doing a Scream 1 retrospective for my show, Really Real Retrospective. and that is coming very, very soon. It's coming along really awesome. I really can't wait till everyone sees it. It gives you great insight into the making of the movie, how the movie fared at the box office, how it nearly almost didn't happen, it nearly failed, how it nearly got canned during the filming of it, a bunch of other cool moments that it's got in it. And the editing process is underway. I've gotten all the footage. I've just got to record the voiceover. I've just got to chuck the footage together. Like I scrubbed through hours and hours and hours of the movie and 2 makings of, and one of those makings of was 2 hours. And I've scrubbed through every piece of detail, edited bits, cut bits out to lift and put into mine and stuff like that. Obviously not what they're saying, but just like video image of like behind the scenes and opening weekend at the cinemas and the signs at the cinemas and things like that. Like, it's a really cool look into the landscape of what 1996 when Scream was released and what that movie did for the slasher genre and how it almost didn't do what it did for the slasher genre. And that's coming up really soon too. I'm going to try and get that out just before Scream 6 hits 2. And if it's successful, we will continue on and I will do Scream 2, Scream 3, Scream 4, and Scream 5 very quickly in a row after that, if it's successful. So that depends on all you guys.
Indeedy. So we have lots of tasty morsels coming your way.
Including Ranked and Reviewed Goes to Hell as well, man.
Ah, yes. We finally get our comeuppance and go to the fiery inferno of hell.
We do. And for a limited time only, we're going to offer you this crazy deal. You saw it at the start. This time, we're going to do your really good deal. This time,
that's under $10 per fetus. So I mean,
you're winning. All right, we're getting out of here.
We are getting out of here before we cut off even more prices on our dead fetuses. So I mean,
yeah, they aren't going to $5 each. Forget it.
No. They're going to be at these dollars like hotcakes. So remember to buy up and go to that QR code.
I'm very interested to know where this QR code goes, man.
But anyway, I've been ALANNIS Maximus. This has been Tomye West.
I'm not a dead fetus.
And we hope you have a lovely night filled with fetuses.
If you bought 10 of them, you're going to have a good time.
Yeah. There
I don't know what you're doing with them, but we don't care. We're not here to ask questions.
No. I mean, veal.
Let's get out of here.
Good night, everyone.